I want to build a private equity firm. I won 7th place in the country for FBLA out of like 3,000 people from Canada, China. I feel like the earlier that you start, the more advantage that you have in the future of it growing even more.
You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Hey, what's going on, family? Welcome to another episode of Called2Serve Podcast. I am your host, Reggie Hubbard. Today with us, we have a very extraordinary young man, Mr. Cohen Pert, 15 years old, aspiring entrepreneur. He is the president of the Lambert Investments Club and the founder of the Pert Group. My guy has got his own consulting firm at 15 years old. And that's not it. There's just other things going on that we'll talk about later. But Cohen, welcome, bro.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. I'm really good buddies with your dad. And that is not the reason why you're on this show. But me and him were talking about you, and I just think that you're just a phenomenal young man. The things that you're doing. The trajectory that you're on right now, I was like, you know what, we got to get this dude on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
And you're the first guest who is under 18 who is on our show, and I believe that sometimes you have to make exceptions for exceptional people, and I definitely believe that you're an exceptional young man. So tell us about yourself, man. What you got going on, Cohen?
Yeah, so my name is Cohen Pert. I'm the founder of the Pert Group, like he said. My consulting firm right now, we just work with multiple business owners and across different industries. Right now, my target market's with blue-collar business owners, so people that own their own trades firms and different like trades companies, like whether it's HVAC or electrical or construction or anything like that. We basically help them with their back office processes, so all of their administrative tasks and operational things that they need help with, we essentially just kind of optimize that for them and at least automate what we can. And it just makes saves them time, like up to 10, 20 hours a week, but also just makes their lives easier as business owners. So That's a pretty cool thing about my business. Yeah.
Wow, man. So holy smokes. Okay.
Yeah.
You got a lot going on, my friend.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
I might need to give you a call, man.
Yeah.
So you pretty much, you said you help people fine tune their back end processes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What made you decide to get into?
So, that's actually a great question. So, with how it started is basically, I just noticed a lot of my family are entrepreneurs, like my grandparents, my parents, like all sides of my family, they all have their own businesses. And it started off where I was basically just doing like projects for them. Like, oh, can I pay you a little bit to do this and this? And I use all the different technologies and all the newest things to get it done quickest and most efficiently. And it kind of turned into where it's like, oh, I should probably actually start this as like an actual business. So I set up my LLC, EIN business, all this stuff, and I just got everything like legitimately set up because my mom is an accountant, so she was able to help me get it all legally in place. And then I just started reaching out to people and seeing who would want my help. And thankfully, it hasn't been as hard as I thought it would be to actually get clients. I thought it was going to be like a lot harder, but right now I probably have about maybe 5-6 clients that I like consistently work with. And it's really fun because it gives me experience. It's almost like getting paid to learn. So that's something super cool about it. But it's really awesome. Yeah, it's really cool.
Man, that's so family of entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I know. It's I'm very glad my great grandparents on both sides, like literally so many people I could name, but it's basically, I feel like it's in my blood, in my DNA. I feel like I was meant to start a business, and I was like, it just makes sense to me. Like, why not just go ahead and do it at a younger age, even though it's not exactly what I had planned years ago. I started off when I was just 7 years old, selling stuff in my neighborhood, and eventually it just grew on multiple different businesses until now, and I just keep growing into those different things, those different ventures that I have. So.
Yeah,
really
that was gonna be my next question for you. When did the entrepreneurial journey start for you? When did you kind of like, what, I think I want to do business or start a business or your first business?
Yeah. So I was 7. Honestly, I was just bored. I was like, I just felt like there was more to do, like, outside and just in my neighborhood and with my friends. So what I did is I basically just rallied up on my friends, probably 5 or 6 people, just people in my cul-de-sac, and we came together and I was like, oh, I wanna build a shack and like set it up in our pool, and basically like building a structure that's mobile that we could like drive around. And we basically all stood there. We actually did end up building it, and that's a pretty long story, but essentially it was just a PVC pipe structure with like different foam boards, and it was actually pretty big, probably the size of this room, and or a little bit smaller. But we just set it up right next to our pool, and we stood there, and we literally just had snacks and candy and drinks that we were just selling to all the people that came by. And I mean, that was the first like business that I started, and I mean, it kind of just taught me that I'd be able to like run teams of people and be able to manage them pretty well, and be like, okay, you guys got to stand there and you can handle this, and I'll be walking around and doing all these different things. And I did handle the money for the first part, but it basically taught me that it is a valuable skill set to be able to lead people and actually get things done running a business. And that was like, I have to do more with this, and then it kind of just all went up from there. So yeah, that's how it started.
You just said something that really just resonated with me.
Mm-hmm.
It's an extremely valuable skill set to be able to lead people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would argue and say that it's probably more of an extremely valuable skill set to be able to lead yourself first.
Yeah.
Right. Self-leadership is you got to start there before you can lead other people. Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, talk to me about leadership. Like, what's your kind of take on that? What does leadership look like to you?
Yeah. So, I mean, to me, it's, I think of it more in a technical way where, there's the boss and the people. But I mean, over the time as I've, been having these different ventures that I've worked on, I've kind of like realized that it's a little bit more about, you having the direction, the vision, and like the mindset of where you want to be, and then being able to take people along and for the journey, and then kind of get to that point that you want to get to. And it's definitely not as easy as I thought it would be too. That's another thing. It's been pretty hard. But I mean, even just with my club, I have my officer team, and we just work together with our members, trying to give them the most valuable knowledge that we can get. And essentially it's just like, going along the journey. I mean, we don't have everything set in stone, but it is like, I mean, what do we want to be a year from now? Like, how do we want to start this next school year? And like, how many members do we want to get? And a lot of metrics that I personally use. But I mean, really, I just think it's all about, having the right vision of what you want to get to, and then just finding all the ways that you can get there, goals and everything like that. So,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I align myself with that. It's, having a vision is so important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But sharing the heart behind that vision, that's what gets people that's what gets you the buy-in that you want.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Communication as a leader.
Mm-hmm.
Man, dude. Yeah. I'm inspired, bro.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm like, shoot, man, I might need to talk to this guy a little bit more, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Man.
I mean, yeah. It's very interesting to me. I mean, I don't really know how to say it, but basically in terms of like, inside, it's almost like, I feel like there's different problems out there that are not necessarily easy, but can be solved. And, kind of just developing the way that you want to do that, and also being able to help people. Like, for example, I mean, with my business, I kind of just noticed that there's business owners that aren't necessarily being able to like really handle their administration very well, all their different back office processes, and being like, okay, I mean, that's obviously an opportunity right there where I'm able to go in and, monetize that space. But also being like, I mean, what exactly do you need help with? And, what are the specific things that you're struggling with? And kind of just be able to, like I said, develop the vision. And, I mean, it's been really cool because it's just taught me so many things, and my experience just keeps growing, my knowledge of that. But I mean, yeah, it is a very important thing for sure. So it is very interesting. Yeah. So,
yeah. So let's talk about that. All right. So a business owner, they're struggling with administrative processes, back end processes, back office processes, however you want to put it, and you step in and fix that for them. Yeah.
So, I mean, it is a little bit more complicated than that, obviously, but
sure.
It's I mean, really what I do is I do it on a very small scale. Obviously, I'm not a a professional and I'm not, having a college degree and all these things. But I mean, what I do is I really, really utilize technology and specifically AI and all these different tools that are out there. And that's made it, a lot easier for me to get done because I've been able to, to kind of teach myself how to use those things. And by learning all these different tools and all these different platforms and softwares, I'm basically just kind of finding the way that I could monetize that specifically for them. So, I mean, for example, one client I worked with, they have a very large site development company, but they're not necessarily very good at how they actually run the business, like the administration behind it. So they have all their data is like on paper. Everything is, written down. And I was basically converting that into a digital format, just in simple spreadsheets, but being able to use technology to convert it and also being able to optimize it in the future for them so that they just consistently update that. And obviously it's a very simple way to solve that problem, but I feel like it helped them out a lot. And I mean, it's definitely cool to see what happens after that, but yeah. So.
You sound like a professional to me.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So, What are your hobbies like outside of the investment club? Like, talk to us about who is Cohen. What do you enjoy doing outside of business? Yeah,
so I mean, those are really where a lot of my interests come from. Those are the things that I honestly enjoy. Outside of that, I mean, I go shooting all the time and at the gun range. We used to go a lot more often than we do now, but I mean, that's really fun to me as well because I mean, when I was 4 around that age, I grew up going on our family's what's it called, our little just property in Florida, a little kind of a ranch basically, and it was a very large ranch. I'm pretty sure around 2,000 acres, and it was a very large property, and that was really fun to kind of just like explore the outdoors and just shooting, and being around that environment was really interesting too. So I try to stick with staying with that area as well, and kind of just go once a month shooting at the range and just developing my skills there. But I mean, outside of that, we used to go hiking a lot as well, and I mean, especially during COVID, we would go. I'm pretty sure we went like once a week, once a month, and we just went to the the North Georgia mountains, and we were just up there, and I mean that was really fun because just being in the wilderness is kind of cool to me. So nature is very interesting, but I mean, especially when I see that picture up there, it's kind of cool too. But yeah, I mean, those are pretty much the things that I can come up with at the top of my head. But yeah, so. Interesting stuff, yeah.
So you clearly are not the average 15-year-old young man.
Yeah.
So your friends, are most of your friends as driven as you are, or talk to me about friendships?
Yeah, so that's actually a very interesting question. I kind of do like actually talking about that a little bit too. So personally, my friends, I mean, I'm in a lot of different like friend social groups, I guess you could call it. A little sprinkles here and there, if you know what I mean. But no, I mean, I have a lot of friends that are very, very bright and smart and know all these different things and good grades, academics, everything they achieve. They're high achievers. But what I found specifically with those people is that they're not always necessarily the ones that want to lead or actually be a leader and kind of take charge in those different areas, and that it ends up, because I mean, I wouldn't consider myself like a genius, obviously. I mean, I've been able to find these opportunities and kind of use them to my advantage. But I mean, there's a lot of friends that I have that are much, much smarter than me and are able to get things done probably a lot quicker, but they're very much more technical is the best word. They're not necessarily able to, want to start a business and go out getting those things. So to answer your question, I mean, I feel like that's specifically something that I'm very unique in. I mean, I've not been able to really find anybody else that's similar to me and like all those different specific things. But I mean, I do have a lot of friends that, want to start a business and kind of want to get into that. And, I try to help them and try to basically providing my services to them at like obviously a discounted rate. But I mean, that is really fun too. I mean, I think it's very interesting. And I wish a lot of kids could know more about how to start their own business and kind of get something started as like a side hustle and then move it into, a legitimate enterprise. But I mean, that is something that I think is very important. But yeah, I mean, trying to do more a little bit with that is something I think I could work on.
I think you brought up some very interesting points.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to kind of shed my kind of light on that right there. When you said that you don't consider yourself a genius, and in actuality, you have friends who may be smarter than you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For sure.
But they don't want to lead.
Yeah.
everyone's not meant to be an entrepreneur, right? Because an entrepreneur is someone, in my opinion, is someone that can see something that's not there because it always was there, right? Someone that has a vision. It may not physically be there for you to see, but it's there. It's here. It's here, right? And generally speaking, the most successful people did not have the best academics.
Yeah.
And I believe that's for two reasons. I believe it's because work ethic will beat out talent all day, every day. Somebody who works harder will go further than someone who's just naturally gifted, because eventually they're going to catch up and they're going to surpass the person that's naturally gifted, because this person relies on their gifts to carry them wherever they're going. Also, the second reason is because I believe most people are trained from the time that they're children, very little, to be employees.
That's very, very true. I completely agree with that, actually. Yeah.
The whole system is designed to make you an employee. Think about it. Go to school, get good grades, graduate high school, get accepted into a college, go get a degree, so you can do what?
So you can go get a job.
So you can go get a job.
Exactly.
All right. And now let's talk about, because I'm an entrepreneur, right? That's like my thing. Like, I am an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Most people will go through that system. They'll work 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
And struggle to be able to retire, or not know if they're able to retire. Right?
Yeah.
Now, this is where what you do comes in. This is where investments, the investment, topic comes in, as far as why does that happen? Well, in my opinion, based off of the data that I've accumulated over many years, it's because people spend most of their lives working for money versus having money working for them. So when they hit retirement age, they've worked for money all their life, and they haven't put their money in the proper vehicles to where their money is going to continue to work for them for the rest of their lives and create generational wealth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's very, very true.
All right. So that's why when I first heard that you were running an investments club, I was like, oh, man, that's interesting. I want to learn more about that, because if young men and young women who are your age are starting to have these conversations, and they buy into it and they understand it, and they not only understand it, but they implement, dude.
Yeah.
The next few generations, it's going to be a major shift.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, with my club and what we do, I mean, the reason why I wanted to start that is I started investing when I was probably 10 or 11. So I started earlier than most people do, but I had very, very, very limited knowledge. Like, I didn't even understand what the stock market was or what a stock actually was. I just was like, you put your money in it, it can go up or it can go down. And that's pretty much all I knew. And over the time, obviously, I've developed my skill sets a lot more, but it kind of taught me that even though I started pretty early, which I think was pretty advantageous to that, actually, but that a lot of people should be starting earlier. I feel like the earlier that you start, the more advantage that you have in the future of it growing even more, compound interest and everything.
100%.
So, I mean, with my club, the goal is that we can just give them, a little bit more than basic advanced knowledge of what investments are, how that works, fundamentals, technicals, and everything that there is to do stock research and look for investments in index funds or whatever it may be. And basically even just the simple thing of just getting your brokerage account set up. It's like there's a lot of these things that kids don't even really have that set up. And it's like, I mean, I cannot relate to that, but I do understand how that is kind of something that is not necessarily, talked about in society really. Like you shouldn't, you can wait till you're an adult to have an investment account, or just you might not even never have one, which I think is terrible. But for a kid to be able to start early and set one up so that they can, it would be beneficial to them in the future, the more that it grows. And like you said, how just over time, but I definitely think that that's something that people need to work on, and I really want to help with that. So that is something I try to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it would go back to, most people, maybe they should have investments and working for them, and they don't.
Yeah.
But most people are not taught to do those things.
Yeah.
It's not in curriculum.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Because overall, I believe that the system is designed to create more employees. If everybody decided that they wanted to be an entrepreneur, the workforce collapses.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So why push everybody to own their own businesses? Why, why encourage everyone to kind of operate outside of the system, because it's not beneficial for the system.
Yeah.
It's not beneficial for, the sustainability of the society that we live in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I believe that there's people who are happy with working for someone for 30, 40 years. That's all they want to do.
Yeah.
I.e., maybe those people who don't want to lead.
Yeah.
Who were academically strong, who were perfectly fine with going to school, getting a degree, graduating with honors, blah, 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 all that shebang, getting a job, working their way up through a corporate ladder.
Yeah.
And that's fine with me, because it's people like you and I, we need people like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, that's true. Eventually, yeah.
We need people who want to work for other people. Right? That gives you and I leverage. Right?
Yeah.
The leverage of being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And things like that, man.
Yeah. Well, that is very true. Like you definitely cannot have everybody running their own business. I feel like really the only way that you'd be able to get around that is if everybody, this would be kind of extreme, but if everybody was a freelancer, doing their own thing, whatever their specific skill set was, up for hire to do more project-based things. That's something that I've thought of a lot. Not me doing that, being able to hire freelancers. I feel like that would be better for what I'm doing right now, and then eventually go into, actually being able to hire people to full-time versus part-time. But no, that's true. Not everybody can be an entrepreneur, and it would, definitely, the system would pretty much collapse if that was the case. But it's very interesting. That's what I try to do with my business. Like I said, just teaching people how to not even just run their business better, but also be able to start your business. So I launched this program. I just called it like the business launch, and I haven't actually done that much with it, but getting everything in place to where if someone ever wanted to start their business, they could just come to me, and I'd basically be setting up all, the legal aspects, the financial aspects, everything, get everything set up and in place so that they can go on with their operations and, all the marketing and getting clients and doing all the service delivery or product. And so that is something that I also try to do, but it would be very challenging in the future. So we'll see how that goes. But
yeah, man, dude, that's pretty dope, man. I'm very impressed. I definitely want to get with you offline and learn more about what you have going on, and just see if I can help in any way, because I'm passionate about. I am an entrepreneur, and I do technically currently right now have a W-2 position as a school resource officer. That was something that I chose to do because I'm passionate about pouring into the next generation. So it's not necessarily something that I have to do. It's just giving me a vehicle to where I can connect with the next generation. And I think that part of pouring into the next and developing the next generation is, helping people become huge proponents for financial literacy. Start teaching, young people, even younger than you, the importance of financial literacy, right? And having your money work for you. Yeah. This compound interest is a real thing, my guy. I'm sure you know that. Yeah. It's a real thing. And the sooner you start, the better it is. It costs to wait.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Someone that starts investing at 20 and versus someone who started investing at 25, it's a huge difference. Just those 5 years can cost you hundreds of thousands to even possibly millions, depending on your portfolios.
Yeah.
Right. So it definitely costs to wait.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, when you asked what I'm doing right now, I mean, exactly with that focusing on the younger kids, I'm right now, coaching up 2 kids. I believe they're like 10 and 11 and 12, a lot younger than me. And, basically I'm kind of just, getting those things set up for them. So I'm trying to work with them. I believe I actually have a call with them today, actually, to, set up their brokerage account and get everything in place for them to then be able to go on and investing. And, a call that I had with them last week or 2 weeks ago, we actually went over like, what is the stock market? Like the most basic things, what is investing? And then we kind of like ended off as like how to actually look for the best investments. And now it's going to be, getting their account in place and actually being able to start investing. And I mean, that's like, even though it's super, super basic, I mean, that knowledge starting at 10 and 11 and 12, that's like the best, I mean, that's the best knowledge they could have for the rest of their life, really. So
yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah.
And I have 3 children, 6, 4, and 1. All right.
Wow.
I've already started implementing those things into my children. I'll ask my 6-year-old, hey, what do you need to do? What 3 things do you need to do to build wealth? She'll say, make money, keep money, and multiply money.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. That's great. Wow.
She can tell me what the difference between an asset and a liability is.
Yeah.
And I just think that it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So talk to me about what else you got going on.
Yeah. I mean, right now, I mentioned AI a little bit ago, but right now it's taking up a lot of my time. I'm working on launching a new product in my consulting firm. An AI app is what I'm working on developing. It's a lot harder than I thought it would be because I'm not a very technical person. I'm like with coding and programming and all those things. So that's something I've had a lot of struggles with, but I've found ways to get around it. And basically what I'm kind of launching is basically a tool that's going to be able to do a lot of the service delivery aspect of my company to kind of like take off a lot of time that I have on actually doing the work and more just it'll basically turn into more client facing work, which is communication and diagnosing their business, I like to call it, which I could probably find a different word for that, but essentially just what problems are they facing, what is the best solution to that problem, and then being able to implement that into their business to get the solution for them. And so I'm basically building a tool that's gonna be able to do that for me, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah,
man, I'll be curious to keep my eye on that and see how that goes, man.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, something like that you could possibly even white label.
Yeah,
for other people to use.
Yeah, I mean that's actually a really good point. That's actually what I was literally looking on about yesterday. Actually, I think 1 or 2 days ago, I was looking on if I'd even be able to just resale white label tools and how that would work or resell, and I was not as successful as I thought I would be. I thought I was going to find something more specific to what I'm doing, but that's actually kind of what started my inspiration to actually build my own app, is because I realized that there's not a tool that would be able to do specifically what I'm trying to do with it, which is just the actual AI automations and service delivery part. They're more focused on like marketing and email marketing and automation, things like that, live chat bots and certain things. So that's not really necessarily what I wanted to be able to do. So yeah, it's been the research phase has taken a lot longer than I thought, but the actual development phase is thankfully getting a little bit more high pace. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. So
yeah, man, dude. Yeah. So talk to me about okay. So I know you have siblings, right? Do they kind of share the same mindset or talk to me about the sibling dynamic? Yeah, because I know you come from a family of entrepreneurs. And things like that. So
So I mean, my sister, so she's not she isn't really super interested in anything that I really just mentioned. We have very, very different interests, but I mean, when in terms of like actual business and managing their money. I started off actually managing their own portfolios that we all have similar investment accounts, and I was managing that for them until I got to the point where I realized that I don't think it would be best for me to actually manage other people's money until I can get a little bit more experienced, and that right now it would be more actually being more on the education side and actually teaching them how to invest themselves and not kind of doing it for them. But so that's like specifically with my sister. With my brother, he's a little bit more advanced in terms of the actual educational part, and he knows a lot more about like investing. And we kind of did that together when I was probably 11 and he was 10 or 9, whatever. And so that's kind of interesting. So he has his account, and I'm able to kind of help him with that every so often or so, once in a while. And it's kind of interesting because we have very, very, very different interests. A lot of us, like my brother wants to be a doctor. My sister still doesn't really know what she wants to do. So,
yeah. She's still really young.
She's very young. So, interest-wise, very, very different. But I'd still try to help them with the investment side because that's what my interests are, and kind of finding ways that I could, just help them with that. But, that's pretty much it. So,
yeah. So I know you mentioned, possibly like, managing other people's assets or anything like that. Have you thought about, what particular way that you might want to do that? Like, would you want to do like a retail brokerage, or what type of assets that you would like to manage? Would you think about becoming a broker yourself sometime and be getting some serious licenses, Series 7, 63, 26, some of those licenses?
So that's actually very interesting. This is something I don't even think I talked about yet, but my actual goal in life of what I actually want to establish is I want to build a private equity firm. So my goal is to basically take my consulting knowledge and my investing knowledge and basically perfectly combine that with each other to build a private investment firm that buys companies, scales companies, and exits. And that's really my goal. That's why I really love how I'm able to understand the actual operations of businesses and the administrative back end side. And my goal is to obviously bring on partners and different team members, but really me having at least the little bit more advanced knowledge into all of these different concepts, I feel like that would be perfect to combine it at a later point in time and actually build a large private equity firm. That's really my goal. And to me, I think it's very, very interesting because what I'd be able to do is, like I said, combine it, but also the knowledge that I have of actually being able to scale companies besides just the operations itself. That is something I need to work on a lot more, but I feel like it'll just be super valuable, and I think I'll be able to take it to very, very big heights. So we'll see how that goes. But
I think you will too.
Thank you.
I think you will too, man. Yeah. I'll be keeping my eye out.
Yeah. Thank you.
And like I said, any way I can, I can help.
Yeah.
I'm only a call away for sure.
Yeah.
Man, this is very impressive, man. My mind was nowhere near where yours is when I was 15.
That's what everybody says to me. Yeah. I get that a lot, to be honest, but
people are surprised that I am where I am now because of this, the decisions that I was making when I was your age weren't necessarily the best ones. But through people pouring into me and being consistent, my perspective changed. And when my perspective changed, my actions changed too. I started to govern my actions accordingly. And I got my act right before it was, it was too late.
Yeah.
And I think that's why being an SRO is so important is because I used to be that misguided kid, who just needed direction, needed a vision. And this takes me back to like my military leadership. Is whenever I'm leading or whenever I was leading soldiers, I had to provide them with purpose, motivation, and direction. And I think if you give people those 3 basic things, that kind of gets the ball rolling. Sharing a vision, but the heart behind the vision. Yeah. Because essentially there's a difference between being a boss and being a leader. You can be both. Yeah. You can be one or the other. But there's a very, very distinct difference from just being a boss and being a leader.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I remember when I was in middle school, I had a lot of friends coming up to me, and again, with the same thing of like, I want to start investing and I want to start my own business. And I really started off with like, well, what are your actual skill sets? Why do you want to do this? Why do you think you'd be able to do that? Just kind of like actually hear the reason behind it. And it was always very interesting to hear what people had to say, because it was really because, I mean, most of the answers were just, I feel like I should be doing more. Like, I mean, I'm just a student, like I go to school, but I feel like I could do something on the side to, I mean, kind of like what I'm doing, just use my time wisely and actually be able to build something valuable. And I mean, that was very interesting. That's another thing that kind of wanted me to start my, or kind of built the knowledge for me to want to start my business consulting from, and the inspiration.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's very interesting how people don't necessarily know how to, which is why I feel like that I do really good at what I do, just helping them in the ways that I can. But yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how else to really mention on that topic. But I mean, it is something that I feel like I could help people a lot more with as well. So
that's awesome, man. And I was reading your bio, very impressive, by the way. And you mentioned something that you do with your mom. Could you tell us more about that?
Yes. Yeah, so I'm a part of YMSL, the Young Men's Service League, and this is a mother and son organization, volunteering organization, where we basically, I mean, we were just at there Thursday, actually, 2 days ago, and we were helping, we were at a laundromat, so we were basically just there assisting a church group that was there managing it to help the people that were coming by. And I mean, I had a very simple role. I was just taking coins and filling up the machine for them, and I gave them some little dryer sheets, and that was interesting. But I mean, yeah, we were there for about an hour and a half, and I mean, essentially how it works is you're just with your mom, and you're with a few other friends too, and their parents as well, but you're basically just serving together and doing whatever nonprofit work that you can. And I mean, it is a very interesting thing, because you get a very different perspective of different people's lives, and you know, people that are more low income than others, and certain things like that. So it is very interesting, and I'm glad that I'm still doing it. But yeah, I mean, it's really great. Yeah,
man. So you just serve in a bunch of different capacities, man. I think that was a lot of the reason why I just was like, man, you know what, I gotta get this guy on the show. Yeah, you know, servant leadership. Yeah, at 15. Yeah, you know, you're part of the FBLA. Yeah, right. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so Future Business Leaders of America, FBLA. I mean, it's a great organization. I've been in that. I've been in that for much longer than I was in YMSL. I've only been that for about a year. But FBLA, I've been in it for 4 years, and essentially it's a very basic knowledge, but it is really cool, and it's a lot more entry level than I wish it was, but basically how it works is you essentially are just a part of this club organization, you know, the student-led business organization is what it's called. And I've actually never been an officer within that organization specifically, but I have kind of, you know, gotten the knowledge from, well, I mean, especially my business teacher at South, Mr. Lorero. Yeah. He taught me a lot about all those, you know, different things about the stock market and kind of basic knowledge. And I mean, it was just kind of cool, because he would always like point me out in the class and just be like, "Oh, this kid's he's got a future." And I was like, I mean, that was always very, very fun and interesting to, you know, be in his class and be an FBLA, because he was the FBLA advisor for our school. So I got to know him a little bit more, and then I won 7th place in the country for FBLA out of like 3,000 people from Canada, China, and here. And that's like thank you. That's a very more advanced aspect of where I guess I'm a little bit more of a high achiever in that, but not very academically. And I mean, it is really fun, because, you know, I was on stage and there was like all these people, and it was huge. It was at like the Orlando Convention Center, so it was Orange County, and it was ginormous place. And it was, I mean, it wasn't actually as overwhelming as I thought it would be, because I couldn't see anybody over the stage. So that was an interesting perspective too. But I mean, yeah, it's basically just teaching me all this business knowledge that, you know, kind of started off my inspiration again to want to build my company, but also kind of connecting that with the stock market side. And we participated in the FBLA stock market game, and we won 2nd place in the country, I believe, with my team, and that I was leading, and I think it was about 5 or 6 of us. And yeah, it was just a stock pitch competition, very, very simple, but that was again another thing that wanted me to start my club as well. So all these different little pieces that just inspire me to do these different things, and I mean, it all comes together, so it's really good. But yeah, so that's cool.
Yeah, man. FBLA, YMSL, yeah, Lambert Investments Club, man, the Pert Group, yeah, yeah, man. My man is 15 and already has his own LLC.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
I love it,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Super inspirational.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I'm rooting for you. I'm definitely going to be following your journey.
Mhm.
And again, I say, man, anything I can do to help out, man, I'm all for it.
Mhm.
I love your family.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, your sister, that's my little road dog right there.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
she's one of my
Mhm.
first friends that I made.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
your dad is a super cool guy.
Mhm.
We got together probably about a month ago.
Mhm.
You know, he and I and another friend. And, you know, I love to talk to people whose minds work in a similar fashion, but also in different ones.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They say that great minds think alike.
Mhm.
I don't know if I believe that completely.
Mhm.
I believe that great minds think for themselves.
Mhm.
You know, I see where the sentiment is with that, and I believe part of that. But I do also believe that people who have great minds set themselves apart from others.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, man. So I got one more question for you.
Mhm. Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
And I like to ask this question.
Mhm.
What might people be surprised to know about you?
That's a deep question. I mean, I'd have to. Oh wow. What might people be surprised? I mean, this is a very technical question for what my answer would be, but and a lot of people think that, you know, when I tell my friends about these things, and this is actually another thing that I like to talk about with my friends, but they always are all, you know, very, very surprised that I do all these things, and I'm like, oh, it's normal to me, but it's interesting their perspective on like what they think about me, like, oh, like how do you do all these things? And it's like, I mean, it's really not that hard in my perspective. I understand that that's probably a very foreign concept for most kids to be able to do all these different things, but for me, it's simple, really. I mean, it's not. I don't want to say no. It's not simple. I take that back. But it's not. Again, it's not as hard as I thought it would be. It's actually, you know, I'm not, you know, busy 24/7 essentially. So I still got, you know, free time to just do whatever else I want to do and just chill. So that's very, very, very important. But I mean, yeah, something that most people don't know is that all the different things that I do, but also that even though it sounds like so awesome and so big, I mean, I'm not as successful as most people think. Like, my business doesn't do like $1 million a year, you know. It's just, I mean, obviously it doesn't, but
Yet.
yeah, that's true. So yeah, I mean, those are pretty much the two biggest things that most people probably wouldn't know about me, but I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah.
Well, you know, this is one of my favorite like sayings, Cohen,
Yeah.
and I think I would like for you to take this
Mhm.
and internalize it and keep it with you,
Mhm.
because while your business does not make $1 million
Yeah.
yet,
It could.
it
Yeah.
could,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
it could very quickly.
Mhm.
You don't have to be great to start,
Mhm.
but you have to start to be great.
Mhm. Yeah. Wow, that's a great quote. Wow. Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it takes a special kind of person
Mhm.
to start and not stop.
Yeah.
That's really the difference between people who are successful and people who are not
Yeah.
successful.
Just giving up. Yeah. Yeah.
The people who are not successful, they gave up
Yeah.
because it's
Mhm.
inevitable.
Yeah.
If you do the right thing for the right amount of time,
Mhm.
you will win.
Mhm. Yeah.
The right thing for the right amount of time,
Yeah.
you will win.
Mhm.
You will achieve the results. It's inevitable.
Mhm. Yeah.
Most people, they just quit before they had an explosion.
Yeah, that's true. That's
know?
very, very true. Yeah.
So you don't have to be great to start, but you got to start to be great.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I think, and I believe you are on your way, my friend.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope so.
I believe you're
Yeah.
going to be one of the top leaders of the world
Yeah.
in your
We'll see.
space.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mark my words, people.
Yeah.
And when you're, you know, receiving your Nobel Peace Prizes and all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? Just, you know, just remember your boy. Like,
Mhm.
You ain't
Yeah,
gotta
for
you gotta
sure,
mention
for sure.
me. You ain't
Yeah.
gotta mention my name or anything like that.
Yeah.
But just be like, man, I remember what Reggie said.
Mhm. Yeah.
You gotta be great to start, but you gotta start to be great.
That's a very valuable piece of knowledge. Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, dude, before I let you go, I
Mm-hmm.
got something for you.
Yeah. Sure.
All right. So what I have here is a custom Called2Serve
Oh wow.
Podcast challenge coin.
Wow. Thank you.
Right. And what it is for, it's meant to be a reminder
Mm-hmm.
of your service to other people and why you do what you do.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
So every time you see it, wherever you put it,
Mm-hmm.
or even when you think about it,
Yeah.
I want you to think about why it is that you serve,
Mm-hmm.
why it is that you choose to serve,
Mm-hmm.
and why it is that you keep serving.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I'll definitely be thinking about those things. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You know what I mean? It has been a distinct pleasure to have you on this podcast, man. You are an exceptional young man.
Yeah. Thank you.
You know what I mean? I'll say it over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
You're going places, brother. And I'm looking forward to following your journey. And I feel bad for the people, because there are people who won't believe in you.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who will tell you that you're crazy. There are people that will tell you that it won't work, that you should just go to school, go to college, get a good job, work for 40, 50 years, and retire.
Yeah.
Not knocking anybody that's done that. I just know that ain't the life for me. And it appears that's not the life for you either. So
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
So, brother, take that, keep that with you, whatever you want to do with it, but always let it be a reminder of why you serve.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. This is really cool.
And thanks for coming out, man.
Yeah. Thank you.
Until next time.
Yeah. Thank you very much.